On Van Morrison.
There you go.
All good?
Good, I think so.
Well, ours very odd February signing day. Signed
Right.
3 guys, but I guess if you just want to run through them real quick, the 3 guys that you announced today.
Yeah, well, first starting with our quarterback Riley Smith from Florida, and when we're taking guys that far away, I think we try to find a connection. And his dad had actually graduated from Bora High School, and so Riley knew about Boise State, he knew about Boise, Idaho. As we were looking through the quarterbacks and what we were looking for, he had size, length, speed, but a very unique situation. Statistically, didn't have the numbers because he shared time with another player that went to Auburn. And so literally back and forth with those guys on drives. And so we watched him, you could see the mechanics, and it was just a matter of getting to know him. And once we did, he was a great fit for us. So when that all happened, we went down there to see him, family, they came on a visit, the connection, this turned out to be the right place. So, he fit that need as far as the size, speed, and athleticism we wanted in the quarterback, but more importantly, student, character, all the other things, the fit was there. Tyneal Hopper from Georgia, again, another guy that, we took 3 guys kind of out of our area, also Mississippi with John Hightower, but Tyneal Hopper, a little bit later in the process, and we were looking for the tight end position. Didn't know if we didn't find it, we weren't just going to take somebody. We knew somebody late might pop, or we figure out what we do with that number. And watched him on tape, studied him, knew what type of player he was. Now I had to go find out about him, and Coach Riddle and Coach Hill went down and saw him, went to the school, did the work, talked to the coaches. And his level that he played, Roswell, that level, the 7A level, that's the highest there is in Georgia. So he knew the football that he was playing was really good. But here's a guy that played with Boise State and NCAA, and that was a connection for him that he'd known about our program for a long time. And here all of a sudden we followed him. And he talked to his dad, he's like, "Dad, Boise State's following me." And he's like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "I have no idea, but I just know Boise State's on me now, and this is something that we've talked about for a long time as a family." And came upon a visit, the connection was right, fit in, and all the other factors were right where they needed to be. And so we got a guy that, not only is a good football player, but also the same mentality of the guys we have in this class, just wants to work, wants to come in, wants to compete, loves the game of football. And so we feel like we got a really good player at that position, which we needed. And then Dallas Holiday, Oaks Christian, this guy, as we got to know him, the mindset, very good student, but very competitive. And as far as just that O-line mentality, exactly what you want. He was on his official visit. He's in there, he's putting the pads on, he's got the helmet, got the whole gear on, and we all kind of looked at him, and he's already big. He's a massive, massive man right now. And so he's got the physical tools, whether he competes early or not, but he's got the tools right now to come in and Coach Pitt can work with him, develop him more, but he's got the size that you're looking for.
Having, the early signing period as well as this one, how do you feel that the players that you were able to get solidified this team?
Yeah, that's a big question for everybody. Early signing period, do we like it or not? At the beginning of it, when we're playing in the championship game, we're playing in an early bowl game, that was very difficult time-wise to manage all that. And so at that moment, we're all a little bit going, this may not be the best thing if you're playing in these games, because we're losing opportunities to go out and see guys, but we're focused on winning at that point. At the end of it, loved it. Once it was all said and done, you played in the bowl game, won it, had your class signed before Christmas, then all the coaches were excited about it. And then this time now with the 3 guys we had left to sign, how do we maximize that time? We got a chance to spend more time with these guys, but then we also got a chance to get ahead a little bit on the 19. So we feel like we finished up a really strong class, but we also got ahead before we get into spring practice. We got some offers out there now. So really what it did, it just sped everything up, right? That's what they wanted. I think the key factor in this is nobody's talking about is how does it affect the student athlete? And when guys are getting recruited as sophomores, the early signing just ends it faster. And I think that's what they want. I'm done with recruiting. I know where I'm going. Leave me alone. No more coaches, no more calls, no more texts, no more guys coming into school and trying to talk to me when I'm in class. whatever that is. Just I'm signing here, and so the earlier for some of these guys, the better. And I don't think that's going to change. I think they're still going to take advantage of it next year. If they don't, then maybe we have to relook at what we're doing.
How do you speak to the character of some of these guys? Talking with Riley, about splitting time with a quarterback, and he said that it taught him how to be a good teammate and create a good environment in the locker room while competing.
Right.
And then Hopper was talking about, asked him what he thinks about early playing time, and he kind of said he doesn't feel like the coaches necessarily determine that. He feels like his work ethic will determine that. So maybe the unique character, or at least the attitude that those guys are bringing to the table as well.
Yeah. Well, Riley's a great example because most guys in his situation are going to transfer and go somewhere else. If I'm not the guy, then I want to be somewhere where I'm the guy. And I asked him the same question, well, why didn't you do what everybody else does? The guys that he grew up with, the guys he played with, the guys that he had 7-on-7 leagues with, were all at that school. And he knew they would be good. He knew he wanted to play with those guys. He knew his situation and still chose to be there. And the bottom line was you had 2 Division I quarterbacks that are high-level players at the same school, but they're going back and forth. And so those guys, they embraced it. And obviously this last season for us, we kind of were in that situation a little bit where we had a couple guys playing. And so it was one of those, as Coach Hill and I talked about, it's a unique situation that he was in, but the type of guy he is, and to be able to do that and know that his best days for us, at least in our mind, are ahead of him, that was an awesome opportunity for us with him and just a display of his character. And you're talking about Ty Neal. Yeah, I think the one thing, they come on campus, we're not talking about, you're going to jump right in here and play. We'll say you have an opportunity to do that. This is how many reps you're going to get. You're going to get X amount of reps before you ever go in there and play against Troy. If you're one of the best players and you deserve to play and you've proved that with these opportunities, then you have your chance. If you're not ready, we're going to tell you that you're not ready. So really, if you take advantage of X, Y, and Z, and you put yourself in a position to play, and we feel like you're ready, you're going to have that chance.
With this group, what's the position group that you're kind of excited about moving into spring ball? What are some position groups you're excited about kind of moving into spring?
Yeah, moving into, I think all of them into spring. Right. One of the areas with this class we signed is wide receiver. Some of these new guys that aren't going to be there are going to have to come in and accelerate in the summer, and we're going to have some guys step up and play as true freshmen. John Hightower, junior college player, so expect him to come in early in summer and be ready to go, but some of these freshmen are going to have to play. As far as positions for this spring, O-line, to see how we continue to develop. Now that we lost, Archie's no longer there, Mason Hampton's not there. You're replacing your left tackle, you're replacing your center. What are we going to do? How is that going to look? And we feel like we have guys that can do it. It's just a matter of what's that combination coming out of spring. D-line, having those guys back, having Coach K here now with a chance to coach him. What's that group going to look like? And what are we doing with those guys as far as the D-line? Because we have quite a few of them back. So how are we going to develop that position? The edges with Jabril and Curtis Weaver, where do they go? Because they obviously had a great season last year, played really well. How do we keep getting them better with Spencer Danielson as their coach full-time? So really, there's a lot of factors that go into this spring, but those are some of the positions right now that we've talked about. But really overall, how are we coming out of spring as a better unit on defense, on offense, on special teams, and then applying that into the summertime.
How much have you?
I gotta take him off the radio.
You're good. You got one more?
I gotta take you up there.
Okay.
So